Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to One Mic, One Wheel, the show where we talk all things motorsport and sim racing related. We've been on a little hiatus for a little while. I hope you don't mind, but I'm glad to be back finally doing these interviews for you guys. The laptop kind of gave up the ghost. It's still not fixed. I left it in for 10 days and still wasn't fixed, but we're back because I had to get these interviews out for you guys. So we're here on episode number 12, and I have another commentator with me in the box. However, it's not your normal commentator because usually all the commentators are male, but today we have our first female. Welcome to the box, Jess. You're very welcome to the show. Glad to have you on.
Hello, good to be here. I'm very excited to see what we got in store. So yeah.
So let's start. How did your love for F1 begin?
Well, it is quite a long story, but I will keep it short and snappy. I think it was about 1997. I saw my mum and dad watching a documentary, which I didn't know what it was, and it was Formula One, and I was wondering what it was. I sat down to watch a little bit. I was two at the time, and it was Damon Hill, and I got so fascinated by him, and I wanted to watch a bit more. So I started watching a bit of F1 races here and there, and I think I started watching properly in 2004, where Jenson Button got his first podium. I was so happy about that, and it pretty much stuck with me pretty much until now, and I absolutely love it.
So, would you consider that to be your favorite F1 moment, or have you got a few more?
I think my favorite F1 moment's got to be Canada 2011, where the race went on for so long, and Jenson Button I think did 6 pit stops. I can't remember, and the race was so unpredictable. You never knew who was going to win, and that's just one of my favorites. And also Jenson Button's my favorite driver, so I was rooting him on, but I didn't think he was going to win, but he won, so that was good.
So, how did you start into esports commentary then?
It went back I think to around about 2013. It wasn't really esports commentary. I started to do a little bit of radio presenting, online radio. I did a bit of hospital radio for a little bit for about a year before I went to uni, because uni was a bit busy, so I quit for a bit. And I absolutely fall in love with connecting with the audience. I got a few requests as well, and because of uni, I did a few more online radios as well. I did the student radio there as well, and I saw people doing some sports commentary, and I wasn't really that confident in coming out of my shell to do those types of things. So I thought I'd do a few more shows online and stuff. And then I came across Ryan L83 and AOR. That's how I came across them in 2017. I did a few races in AOR, I think season 14, I remember, but I was rubbish at the time. And then about a year later, I saw AOR were looking for commentators, and I thought I'd give it a go. I send in my application, just give it a shot, and somehow I made it in, and that's where my love stopped really. And I don't do much AOR anymore. I am with ILR and lots of other call leads which I do, and I get a lot of requests to do things now, which it is quite hard to find my time sometimes. But yeah, I think without radio presenting, I think I wouldn't have found my love for commentary, and I wanted to stick what I love, Formula One and radio, into one, and you get commentary. So there you go.
So, obviously, you would say that your radio certainly helped you get into commentary then.
Yes, definitely. My head definitely boosted my confidence. I don't think I would be where I am now if I didn't do any shows back when I was 17, 18.
So, what, in your opinion, then, is the hardest thing about commentary?
Oh, that is a tough question. Well, I think the hardest thing is uh, really about the hate that I usually get quite a lot. I get quite a lot of hate at times. That was the hardest thing at first to get to grips with, because obviously I started with AOR. I shouldn't have started with AOR. I should have started with a smaller league. And at the time, I just found it so difficult to deal with, oh, you're rubbish and stuff like that. But I think now, looking at it, I look back at those feedback and say, actually, I could have used that to better effect, and it's probably helped me improve a little bit more now. But I think now another thing I find hard is if there's like a driver from an esports team that I'm commentating for, it's just hard to remain impartial at times. You want to be like, oh, come on, like come on, Blizzard or something, and I can't really do that because it's a bit biased. So that's my two hardest, I think.
Now, you did mention that was my next question about all the hate, which is completely unwarranted, of course. But how did you deal with all that? Because it must have been really difficult for you at the beginning.
Well, I think the first lot of hate I got was, I think it wasn't until I started doing the top leagues when someone asked me to cover for Oceania, and I was looking back at the comments on the stream, and I was like, oh god, a lot of people actually hate me. And I think my advice to anyone who's had haters or something, just there's always people that hate you, but there's gonna be more people that love you. So I concentrate on all the people that want to listen to my content, and then if they want to give me feedback, I listen to their feedback constructively, because if you don't listen to any feedback, really, you're not gonna get better. And that's what I've been trying to do at the moment. I think I haven't been listening to much feedback, and that's probably costing me a little bit with things. And I've been asking a few people, and that's probably definitely helped. But it was hard at the beginning to cope with it, because it was my first proper commentary job. And I thought at the time a few people would have hated me because I was a girl, because not many female do commentary, and I think I'm the first one as well. But I just like I it's not going to stop me from doing what I love, and I just want to carry on doing it. It hasn't stopped me from what I'm doing. I'm still doing it today, and I'm always going to get some hate every race. I'm not going to get everyone loves me, and I just got to accept that now, really.
So, in total, what would you want to say to the people who've been hating on you?
Oh God.
Keeping it
Well,
relatively clean, of course.
for the ones who have hated on me, well, at the time, I think you did have the right to hate on me at the time, but if you give me constructive feedback, then that'll probably be better. Because instead of saying, "Oh, you're rubbish," just tell me what to improve, and I'll improve on it. Boom.
So, why do you think there's so little female presence within esports?
I don't. I really don't know. I think the common conception is all girls can't do this, girls can't do that. But I think when a lot of girls watch it, I think they see all boys are really, really fast. They can't do this, and I think they don't see much females doing it. So they think, oh, I'm not going to stand up for the crowd a little bit, because at the time, I thought I was going to get bullied for my actual friends. But actually, my friends are actually supportive in this as well. And I think it comes back to because I'm in a male dominated job at work as well. And when I told my friends, "Oh, I'm going to do IT," and then be like, "Oh, you must be smart," and I'm like, "No, not really. I just have the passion for it." And I don't know. I think there's not been much promotion, but I am starting to see a few more girls get into esports now. Like, not right. I think more driving than commentary. I haven't seen any other female commentators apart from me, but I've seen like the likes of Catherine, who I've seen racing on Xbox. I think she's a pure example, and I think we're starting to see girls get into racing as well, and esports and stuff. And I think I think without the commentary, I think without the IT and stuff, because I do IT, I think I wouldn't have done commentary, because tend to not follow stereotypes. I follow the advice my IT teacher gave me. If you enjoy what you're doing, just do it. Don't be restricted to what your gender usually does. If you like doing it, same for boys. If you like dance for it, just go for it. And I'm sure there's people that are gonna love it. So
We'll get back to Jess in just a moment, but I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our brand new sponsor, LK Racing Esports Team. They're a lovely bunch of guys who run a GT Sport team who are always on the lookout for new drivers. You'll be seeing my beautiful logo for the podcast on their cars come their next round. So I hope you enjoy seeing the logo around the place, but do check out the guys on Twitter at LK Racing Esports. And many thanks to the guys for giving us the sponsor. Now back to the interview. And who would you say has been your biggest support on your journey so far?
Well, in real life, I think what got me inspiration was, I think it was Susie Perry who presented the Gadget Show, and was I watched a bit of MotoGP back in the day. That was my second favorite motorsport at the time, and she was doing a bit of presenting and commentary and stuff, and she still does a bit now, not as much as often, but she actually was doing a lot of great stuff, and that just got me into it and wanted to keep doing what I'm doing and do stuff like that. But in real life, in esports, I don't really know. I think the likes, I think when times got difficult, I had people from VSR who kind of helped me. I think recently when times got hard, I spoke to Evil quite I knew quite a lot. It is quite a difficult one, but it is quite a difficult one. But also, I think it is just nice to get improvements to help me inspire me to do more. Because in my first stream, I was absolutely really nervous. But then I think I was speaking to King Kodiak at the time and said, actually, you didn't do too bad. And I was like, that really inspired me to keep going. So, and I think, yeah, without those people, I think I wouldn't be where I am today. But I think my main inspiration's got to be Susie Perry.
And what sort of things have you got up to thanks to esports? You know, kind of like maybe in real life stuff. Have you got to do any of that yet?
Well, I got invited to help at the F1 Esports event. I think it was the first, yeah, it was the first one, and I got to help do the cameras and stuff. And I think if it wasn't doing AOR or ILR at the time, I think I wouldn't have got this opportunity. I got to meet so many great people. I managed to speak to some of the drivers, and I actually met Jack Nichols at the time. He was actually speaking to someone I was working with at the time, but I didn't know it was actually him until I recognized his voice as soon as he left the room. I was like, "Oh damn, I should have spoken to him." But yeah, that was a great experience because I was able to work at such a large scale event, control so many different things, and there were so many people in this big room, and the pressure was all on me. But it was such a good experience, and I got to watch the second one as well, and where met I met someone from AOR. I met Jamie, I met Alex, and I forgot who else I met, but I met so many other great people as well. I met some of the ILR guys on the WTF1 official karting event. I got to take part in that, but let's just say that my racing didn't go down too well, so I'm not going to do any more racing in real life. But I got to meet people from both communities, and so I think most of them I became very good friends. I think I become especially good friends with the karting guys as well, like with Paul, Josh. I definitely chat to Paul quite a lot as well. So yeah, it's been fun. There's not a lot of opportunities, but that's because I've been busy in real life. But yeah, it has been really fun.
Now, a few weeks ago on Twitter, you mentioned that you suffer from Asperger's syndrome. So, for those who might not know, can you maybe explain what Asperger's is and how it affects you day to day?
Well, I I only spoke about it a few weeks ago because I thought I want to get it out there. I have found it very difficult to speak about it, so this is probably the first podcast I'm doing this, but I'll try and talk about it as much as I can. Well, it is a form of an autistic disorder. It's not um, on a severe bit of the spectrum. It's on the high functioning end of the spectrum, but I think the main concept is I struggle with social situations. My motor skills are not very good. That's why my racing sometimes it's not the best, but I'm trying to work on that. My eye contact's quite difficult. I think by doing commentary, I think that's helped me with that because I don't have to stare at someone when doing commentary. If I'm doing geo commentary or something, I get to speak someone on Discord or an Xbox or PSN party and stuff like that. And when I'm at work at times, I just find I used to get into a routine. I hated change when I was little with a plan, but it got to a stage where I am improving on that a little bit now. But I it was I think in the esports event it was very difficult to speak to a few people. I usually find it hard in social situations. I found it hard to make friends. I think I got bullied at the time as well, and it was just it was just hard. I think for my condition, I was a lot of boys bully me, and I was scared to speak out. But I had a few friends who support me, or the way I had a few teachers who helped me coach that. And one common thing I get with some things is I think a lot of people, a few people might have experienced this. I suffer a little bit of meltdowns as well, like sensory overload. So if things get too much, like at work or doing commentary or something like that, I just cry, and it just gets so much. And I suffer that a little bit of work as well. And I think for the first few months of commentary, I got a few meltdowns, and it was hard to um over it was hard to overcome from it really. And but I think I spoke to some other people who had disabilities as well, and I just like, you gotta keep on going. And that's what I've been doing. And I think I raised a few money for autism as well. I did a sponsored run on at our local event with a onesie. That was quite funny, just to raise awareness of the condition. And I find it hard at times, but in a way it's great because I you get one common thing is you get to be passionate about something, and I'm passionate about technology, I'm passionate about esports. And I get so focused in either of those things. That's one good thing. So I think about the positives mainly, but I found it a lot difficult when I was a child just to speak to people. I'm getting a bit better at it now, but there are sometimes where I do find it difficult. So I do have one close friend, but I do speak to some people, but I don't have that many close friends in real life. That's where I'm really lucky to speak to people from ILR, AOR, and most recently VSR as well, who I speak to online. I don't have to go on a camera and stare at them in the face, because it is quite hard at times. So yeah, I think that hasn't stopped me from doing what I'm doing, really. And it, yeah,
So, would you say that esports helps you cope with your condition?
definitely, because it just forgets about the stress that I've been suffering from a day-to-day basis anyway. And it's just something to fall back on, really, if I'm having a tough day at work as well. In 2016, I was at a point where I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't do it. I stopped doing radio shows for a minute. I was at uni. I my assignments were not very good. I tried my best and I couldn't do it, and I just dropped out of uni. And but I'm doing an apprenticeship now, and I love it. But I think without the esports, I think I still wouldn't be in my real time job, because it's helping me to cope with a few things as well. I'm more confident in presenting in front of people now, due thanks to online presenting and commentary. I could speak to a group of senior managers now at work, which I've never thought I could do. I could uh, do some acting that I never thought I could do. I did a panto in December, and I managed to play a role which was definitely out of my comfort zone. But I don't think I would have done that if I would have gone for that role if I wasn't doing commentary back then. So yeah, that's definitely helped me, because I think I could be honest and truthful. Because with Asperger's, I'm a bit more, I think, have a lot more empathy and sympathy for other people as well. And I hate being mean. So if I have nothing bad to say, if I have something bad to say, I don't say it at all. I just give constructive criticism for people. So that kind of helps me at times.
So, from what you can remember, what would be your most favorite race that you've commentated on? From what you can remember, I know you've done a lot.
Oh, I've commentated on so much, it's hard to choose. But I think a lot of the races in season 16, Xbox One F2 in AOR, that was a very good season, because all the racing was very, very close. I was commentating on my own at the time, but for most of it, I had Diablo, and Alex Buckmaster join me for a few of them. But I think that was my favorite time for commentating, because everywhere you look, as soon as I commentate on one battle, there you go, there's another battle. So that was quite fun. And I think the ILR 3 races recently have been pretty good on Xbox. I recently started commentating ILR 5. That's probably been one of the closest ILR races I've ever commentated on as well, because it's been so unpredictable the first few rounds so far. We had 2 different winners. 2 of them I never thought I would have won a ILR race, but I was so happy for them. And I can't think of a race on top of my head, but I think Xbox One F2 definitely stands in my mind. Of season 16, it's been one of my favorite sets of races.
And is there any particular racing series that you haven't commentated on which you'd love to try?
I would love to do a bit of. I think the only game I haven't done, which I want to do, is a bit of GT Sport, because I've seen the likes of Evil doing it, and I was like, oh, I really want to do it. With the likes of Super Formula coming out as well, I want to give a go on that. I know it'll be difficult at first, but that is quite fun. I think I started on F1 originally, and then they were looking for commentators for project cars. I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. It was quite hard at first, but I started to get a bit more into the GT commentary as well. So I would like to do some more GT commentary. That would be fun. But I just, for some of the time, I don't have the time. I think Mondays and Tuesdays, pretty much, I like to keep as commentary free at the moment. But a bit of GT sports would be quite fun to do, because I had never commentated on much PS4. And the main PS4 stuff I commentate is F1, and that's pretty much it. So I would like to go into the realm of GT sports. That sounds quite fun.
And finally, Jess, what's your own personal goals for the future? Where do you see yourself down the line?
Well, I am about to finish my apprenticeship, so I want to finish that and in the short term and get a job there. But if I don't stay there for a long time, I definitely want to stay. I definitely want to stay in esports, possibly do a bit of a social media plugging, some content creating for people, maybe some commentary here and there. But that'll probably be out of my shadow at the moment. But I think I've been doing some video editing recently, so that'll be nice to do. To video edit some highlights for some big esports events in about a few years' time if my job doesn't go successfully. But I'm quite happy in the technology industry at the moment. But esports is kind of a thing where I can go if I decided that the job I'm in real life is not for me. So.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for, Jess. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all the success for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So that has been it for episode number 12. Make sure to join us next time when another member of the esports community will join us and talk about their experience within the esports industry and their future plans for themselves. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time out for episode 13. Thank you, and goodbye.